Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today is, as you can see by my shirt, leg day. And leg day to me is very important because for a long time my legs have been a weak point and I have been addressing them year after year. And I have to say, I certainly made big improvements by staying consistent with my leg workouts, making sure I hit every single muscle with the proper contraction and stretch. And this is a prime example. This leg extension I'm doing as Tom Platz used to do, not as extreme, but here you can see that when I'm going upwards, I make sure to contract the quads as hard as possible. So actually going at least to 90 degrees, but preferably even a little above 90 degrees. You can see Tom Platz doing it right there. Not every leg extension machine is capable of doing that. This one isn't. It pretty much only goes to 90 degrees. But if you do this and contract the quads to a maximum at the top, it'll be a much more difficult exercise and a much more quad separation etching exercise as well. So I truly recommend doing it like that. And then we move on to the small stance leg press, which means you put your feet narrow to each other on the plateau, on the pad of the leg press. You also want to put your feet a little lower than usual, because the lower you put your feet, the more tension is on the quads, and that is what we want. And you put them close to each other to really work on the sweep of the quads, which is something I want to work on for sure. The bigger the sweep, the bigger the illusion is of a big quad. And that's what I like to do. And as you notice, the volume that I'm using is pretty high. Sometimes I like to do a little higher volume, and that just means a couple of reps more. So normally I would be doing 8 to 10 reps, and now I'm doing 12 to 15 reps. On this leg press, I really try to do 15 reps on every single set, and it really does make a difference. For everybody who does a heavy leg press and doesn't really feel their legs working, upping the reps is just a great way to make that happen, because the moment you exceed the 10 rep mark, at least for me that's the case, you will feel your quads burn and you will actually feel the muscle working that you want to work. And as you can see, I'm going down at least 90 degrees. If I go down a lot more with this particular stance, I will bend my back too much, and it actually will put a strain on my lower back, which is not what I want. And from one leg press we go to the next. And this is an interesting one. Maybe you don't have it at your gym, but the horizontal leg press, it has been proven. So listen to me, if you have knee problems, it has been proven to put most of the tension on your quads compared to on your knees. So what that means is that you can actually go much heavier here without feeling a strain on your knees. So for people who find it difficult to squat or hack squat, this exercise is a great way to target the quads without really complicating the knees. So that is what you want. You don't want to mess up your knees during leg workouts, because that'll cost you a lot of gains in the long run. And this really targets the quads very well. And as you just saw on the regular leg press, we did the feet close to each other as well. Right here we're doing it also. We really want to work on that quad sweep. You don't just want to do a lot of different stuff in one workout. You want to work on a specific thing every workout. And right now I'm working on the quads and the quad sweep. In a different workout I would be working on the hamstrings more. That is how I like to divide my leg workouts, because I train legs twice a week. So one time it's quads and the other time it's hamstrings. And if you look at the poundage or the amount of kilos that I'm using, it is not that high, and there's a reason for it. The actual force that your muscles are producing here is higher relative to the same amount of kilos on the leg press with an angle, on the leg press that I just did. And that is because, basically of physics, it really is more difficult to press a weight from a horizontal standpoint compared to pressing it upwards more. It simply is easier. There are calculations you can do, but it simply is true. And this is pretty much the most interesting exercise of today, the vertical leg press. This is only the second time in my life that I've done it, because I saw these machines, actually, not a Smith machine, but an actual vertical leg press machine in some gyms, on some other videos on YouTube, but I decided to try it on the Smith machine because that definitely is a possibility, as you can see, and it really gives a very interesting sensation in the leg. So you really got to try it out if you haven't already. You can go pretty deep, deeper than 90 degrees without impacting the back. So that is the main benefit of this. And it is a different angle that you use as well. It's simply a different sensation. You really got to try it out to know what I'm talking about. And you can actually go pretty heavy on this one as well. So this is the third set, but I actually did 5 sets. So we went up to 5 plates, which in my opinion is pretty heavy for this particular exercise. I really recommend you try it out, but try it out with a spotter, because the first time I tried it, I did it without a spotter, and when it got too heavy, I wasn't able to turn the bar back to put it in place again, so that was a bit of a problem. But anyway, I got out of it, and we move on to the next exercise, the adductor machine. I'm doing this exercise because I want to work on the inner thighs. Of course, the best way to work on the inner thighs is doing wide stance leg presses, wide stance squats, but it never hurts to add a specific isolation movement at the end of your workout, especially because you can then purely focus on the adductors, and the bigger they get, the bigger your legs will look, because you will close the gap in between your legs. And if you looked closely, the first 10 reps were actually pause reps, because those reps are the most difficult, and at the paused motion, at the paused part of the rep, it'll actually put a lot more tension and contraction in that muscle. So don't speed it up, but actually slow it down, because most machines don't go as heavy as they need to go. And then we do a seated calf raise. And this actually I do 15 reps with as well, but look closely at how I'm performing the exercise. I'm going down all the way and going up all the way. This may seem logical to most people, but it actually doesn't happen in a gym when you look around. A lot of people like to have bigger calves, but when I see them train calves, it is a whole different story, because they are not really training the full extent of their calves. What you really want to do is stretch the calves, because that's what they're not used to when walking, but also the contraction to really etch those details and mass into there, because the range of motion of your calf muscle isn't that great. So you really want to maximize it by maximizing the range of motion by stretching and contracting to a maximum. So don't mind the weight, but mind the range of motion. The same thing here, the seated calf press. It may be a seated exercise, but this time my legs are straight, which targets different parts of the calf muscle. You always want to combine a seated and straight, with your legs straight, calf press or calf raise. Usually I do a seated one and a standing one, but this one is also possible. It's really a comfortable exercise to do. Go all the way down and go all the way up. My feet are pretty close to each other to target the outside of the calf. Anyway guys, this was a nice and quick workout. Don't forget that the shirt and the shorts that I'm wearing are available on vintagegenetics.com. So if you're interested, I'll see you there. I really want to thank you for your support, and thank you for watching this video. And absolutely don't forget to stay golden.